I'm going to call the Star City Council meeting to order. It's Tuesday, February 18th at 2025 at 7 p.m. here at the Star City Hall Council Chambers. Can you please all join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. And tonight we're going to have our invocation by Mr. Cody Larson with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful that we can able to gather here tonight as government and citizens in the Star community. We're thankful for this land that we live in and the freedoms we do enjoy. And ask thy Spirit to be here in attendance tonight as we have discussions that we might be inspired as to what needs to be done and how they need to get done. Bless this city council and our good mayor and all that they have going on in their lives, that they might be able to be focused in their efforts, that they might be continually looking to do what is right and what is good for this community. And that we as members of the community might be able to support them and be good examples in all that we do. We give you thanks for all that we have, for the moisture we've been blessed with, and the good that it does this land. And we say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, roll call.
Hershey.
Here.
Wheelock.
Here.
Salmonson. Here. Nielsen.
Present.
Okay, everybody's present and counted for. We're going to move on to item 4, presentations. We're going to start with the, you're good? Okay, we're going to start with Ryan on the sports and recreation update.
Sure. We use it
In the future.
I had fixed it, but Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I tried to fix my presentation so that I could say what mistakes, but I couldn't get it emailed to Sean fast enough. So we're going to go with the ones that have the mistakes. And so you'll see that that's the winter of 2025, just like it sounds. So may not look right, but it's how it sounds. And
We look at it, we look at 18,000 years into the future. So
it's going to say, Dr. Bub, I am a product of the Meridian School District. So my apologies to Meridian School District.
You spelled it out phonetically.
So, hey, let's take a quick peek. It's been a few months since I've been up here to give you an update on the sports and recreations departments. And so I wanted to just give you a few updates. In the adult side, we just finished soccer and volleyball open play. We had some good turnouts there. And from the youth, we are currently just about to wrap up our basketball season. We had to cap it at 358 participants this year because we just don't have any more room to be able to play. We're very grateful for the relationship we have with the school district and the use of those gyms. So once we get a new school built up and get a new gym, we could probably get another 100 kids to play basketball. So that would be good. Volleyball, we had 161 participants and 30 playing futsal. So futsal is great. We'd love to see more people come out and play futsal. New things coming up with sports. We did a new registration system. Our previous registration system was terrible. I'm not going to lie, it was really bad. We went out and did some research. What we found, we tried to use one system that would do both sports and recreation. Unfortunately, that doesn't exist. There is not one system out there that will meet the needs of both of those. And so recreation has a new system. We're using one, and now sports has a new one. We're using Team Sideline. We're currently working on a new schedule as well. Hopefully it will roll out maybe starting in the fall. But right now we run a couple sports simultaneously. So in the spring, we run football and soccer simultaneously, trying to work out our schedule to where we can run soccer and then run football. And then that way kids have a chance to play both of them without having to go to practice and games 5 nights a week or 6 days a week. And so I'm hoping that'll increase some of our participation. NFL flag will kick off here for the boys and the girls. So we'll sideline cheer, as will our soccer. And then our volleyball core of softball, soccer, volleyball, pickleball, and cornhole. Cornhole will pick back up again as well. Recreation, we had a busy side on the recreation. We continue to do our before and after school program. We have 62 unique participants in that. It's led by 6 adults and 14 teens. We do it at the Star Elementary School. We do it before school and after school. We offer tutoring services as well as multiple activities that are really STEM related is what we try to do. I think you have all heard one of our huge success stories who moved out of the district, but when that young man came to us, he was sitting on the bench or on the curb at 6 a.m. and didn't speak a lick of English, had no friends. And after we worked with him, made him some Spanish to English flip cards and study guides. And I mean, he left just a very, very popular young man. And we're starting to work with the school district as well, or the school, to see how test scores are improved through the tutoring and the different things that we offer these kids. And anecdotally, the teachers are telling us it is helpful. I'm waiting to see some hard data, and we're working with the principal to be able to get that hard data. So continues to be a very, very successful program. December was huge for us. In the month of December, we did 24 activities on the recreation side. So 31 days, 24 activities. It was really busy. Some of the highlights of that was our Lego Minecraft coding. That's actually going to start up in January, but we're really excited about that. And at the tree lighting, we actually had the Lego bus there. We had planned to do, for the last couple of years, we've done little Lego ornaments. The kids love them. We partner with the Lego bus. We had planned 150 Lego kits. We figured that would take us about 3 hours to do. 90 minutes, we were out of those. So we will be increasing that to 300 for the next session next year. That's how much we're growing and how many of our kids really enjoy these types of activities. That was there. We started also new. Again, thank you very much for the bus. We have put it to great use. Yesterday, the Mayor's Youth Council went down to the Capitol building and spent the day with Mayor Chadwick down there. But not only that, we've been able to start school out camps. So when school's not in session, we then have a camp, and it varies from whatever. We've gone to the Discovery Center. We've rented a movie theater and had a movie day and amongst other activities. And so we continue to do that. It's been a big hit in the community as well. We are starting out some different painting classes. We continue to have our Halo event, which is our teen event. Last night had a successful 14 turnout to watch Jumanji, I believe. And when we have our adult fitness and tumblings. Upcoming activities for recreation. We have our school out day camp in March that will continue. We are once a month doing what we call Parents' Night Out. The parents can drop their kids off for a very nominal fee, and they can go out and have a date night, and we'll take care of having activities for the kids. Some of those activities always include STEM activities, plus we have movies and games and everything else that they can do. Oh, and food. I mean, because that's what every kid wants, right? Is just to have some food. And so we do it up right when we have those activities. We are starting an adult paint and sip coming up in March. So we've had a request for that. We're going to give it a whirl. It is a paint and sip, not a paint and drink. So we're going to give that a whirl and see how that works there. And again, emphasis on the sip. We are going to do some county line dancing out in the country is where we're going to do that. We're going to bring that back in April. And that's been a big hit. And we usually like to use the old barn down here on Star Road. And so country line dancing is a big hit. We purchased some drones with a grant, and we're going to start our drone class as well as our podcasting class in April. So those will be coming up. We have an incredible spring break camp planned, and we're going to kick off some sports camps as well in March. So really to the meat of my presentation, we don't have the space, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, to continue to run the programs that our community asks us to run. So I'm always make a request from you when I'm up in front of you. So I would like some space. I want to invite you to the IRPA, which is the Idaho Recreation and Parks Association. We do brown bag activities. On March 12th from 11:30 to 12:30, the brown bag activity is at the Meridian Home Court. Meridian Home Court sits on just under 4 acres. It's a 49,000 square foot building. When my kids were growing up, we played a lot of basketball and volleyball in there. With the advent of pickleball, they've converted some of the courts to pickleball courts in there. But they have 4 full-size basketball courts, 14 pickleball courts, 7 volleyball courts, and a 7,000 square foot community room. They also have an office up front. This is the kind of facility and center I think that that the community needs. that the youth are asking for. We have to cap our basketball. I believe our basketball program could probably be 500 or more if we didn't have to cap it because of space. And so I would openly like to make that invitation to come with me and my staff to the Brown Bag Lunch next month. I'd love to show you Meridian Home Court and how we can make something like that happen here within the city of Star. I do have some ideas on that. I've been working with a couple contractors to give us some bids and some quotes, but it's going to take some private money probably as well as some public money to make something like that happen. But that is my goal and that is my vision, is to have something like that for our community. So that is my report. I'd love to stand for any questions.
We'll get back to you in 2025.
2020.
We might have a
Right.
facility.
Oh, yeah.
No, but seriously,
Hey, Mayor Chadwick,
yeah.
real quick, may I?
Yeah.
We have one gentleman here looking for a scout meeting. If you or anyone else is looking for that, it's at the LDS Church on Floating Feather. So that venue did get changed tonight.
Oh, I don't know if are you
don't
here
know.
for the, no, he's just here for us.
Perfect. All
Perfect.
right.
All right. I will say that as we are updating our impact fee stuff, and facilities like this will be included in that as we work on that process. So that's going to help us out too. So cool. Any questions of Mr. Ryan? Let's go
Okay.
dancing.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to the police chief report. We got Chief Hessing.
All right, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, Chief Zach Hessing, Star Police Department. Grateful for the opportunity to be able to present the January report, the first report of the year. And I'll try to make it quick because I know you got quite the agenda tonight. And a lot of people are here for other things. So real quick, I wanted to note, again, these are preliminary numbers for last year, 2024, but it looks like we had a total of 12.5 crimes per thousand population-wise. As a city goal, our goal is to be under 18, and so it dropped quite a bit in 2024 from 2023, as it noted in that report. I'm very excited to see that, and I think a lot of that has to do with the push of proactivity that we're doing, having our department-oriented police team out there doing proactive policing. I think it's also very good people that's moving into the city of Star, and we're grateful for that. So I did note that as I went through this report. But to get into January, so we had a total of 10 person crimes, 4 property crimes, and 7 society crimes. And again, just a reminder that brown box at the top right kind of explains what those crimes, what those mean. But person crimes is any crime from person to person. Property crimes, obviously, anything you have to do with property, such as thefts, grand larceny, those type of things. And society crimes are drug crimes, gambling, prostitution, those type of crimes that are there. So that's kind of what the explanation on those society crimes are. If you scroll down a little bit on the police activity side of it, so we had 311 citizens calls for service. So that's when somebody picks up the phone and either calls non-emergency dispatch or 911 requesting a patrol deputy to come by and because there's a problem going on. And we had 2,566 proactive policing calls. So that's where an officer creates his own call by either making a traffic stop, stopping by the schools to do a security check, or simply stopping by and seeing juveniles at parks, those type of things. So we're the highest we've been so far at about 8 proactive calls to every 1 calls for service. So again, we're getting out there and working hard and doing quite a bit of proactivity. A few things to note on the select call types. You scroll down a little bit there. So we had 23 juvenile activity calls for the month of January, which is an increase from December. So a little bit more juvenile activity going on out there. There were 706 location checks that we did. A lot of those are homes in Star that people are out of town, so they've asked us to go by and check on those homes. It also includes checking on parks, doing those things. We did 377 traffic stops in the month of January. We made 7 arrests. We did 69 citations between infraction and misdemeanor citations. And then I know our code 3, that's another goal of the city, be under 4 minutes. It's been kind of interesting in the last couple of months as that's gone up and down. But for the month of January, I'm happy to report that we're at 2 minutes and 32 seconds. When somebody picks up the phone, calls 911, and by the time we arrive there to help. And then the out of Star, so we help unincorporated Ada County, sometimes Meridian and Eagle on code 3 calls. We're about 4 minutes and 12 seconds for those. So that's the January report. If you have any questions about the crimes or anything on that report, I'd be happy to answer any of those.
Any questions for Chief? Nothing? All right, appreciate it, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, then we're gonna have the fire chief report and we have the ops chief, Matt Anderson here. Talk about that one. Thank you, sir, for coming.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and my fellow citizens. Matt Anderson, Deputy Chief of Operations for the Star and Middleton Fire Districts were combined. Month of January was busy for us with weather and other things. So call volume's kind of increasing, but I'd like to introduce one of our new battalion chiefs, Rick Arnold. He was my replacement. So he's new to the fire district and learning the ways. And his family moved up here to Star. So he's a resident and a servant. So in the month of January, a total of 159 calls total we had, 2 of which were fire type calls, 1 of which was an explosion. Usually these generally get kind of categorized based on the worst possible. And so it wasn't necessarily an explosion that anybody saw, but it was maybe something that caused an explosion. So rescue and EMS, which is generally and typically our 80 percentile of our call volume or more, we had 79 of those. Hazardous materials calls, again, just like the explosions, that doesn't necessarily mean that there was a hazard that was released or anything like that, but there were hazardous materials involved, and so it's coded as such. And then generally speaking, the others in that category, if you scroll down, there's kind of a key that goes there, but I'll explain them. The other call types would be service calls, good intent calls, and false alarm calls. The false alarm calls are somebody sees smoke in the area and we respond out, investigate, it ends up being nothing. And so it goes in as an other. Moving on to the second page, some quick facts that I put together in the month of January 2024. Star fire units ran 138 calls compared to this year, 203 calls in the same month. That's a 47% increase in our call volume compared to last year. I think all of us know the growth contributes to that. It's not necessarily response times or things like that, but it is an increase in the amount of people calling for assistance. So in January 2025, units from other agencies responded into Star 26 times, either due to lack of units or because additional resources were needed. NFPA standards say that there's a certain amount of firefighters that have to be on scene to comply with that, and that takes outside agencies assisting sometimes. In 2024, fire units from other agencies were dispatched into our district 167 times. And so if we look at that, that's 13 times in January 2024 that other agencies responded into Star. Compared to 2025, that's 26 times that outside agencies responded into Star. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're always understaffed. It just means the amount of times that we're going out necessitates somebody else coming in and running that second call while we're on another call as well. So that's 100%. So that's the drum that we will continue beating, that our call volume is increasing. Our response times are getting longer because we're coming from outside areas. And help is being required more often just because of the citizens. So I'll open it up to you guys if you have any questions.
I do have a question for you. So when Blake Trailer over here had that smoke and we had what, 10 engines? I mean, it seemed like a lot that came in. Does that count as one call and 10 units, or is that just one unit? I mean, how do they classify that in the report?
That's a good question. That's one incident. So one fire incident that was responded. And then if we were to break it down into the amount of units that responded, that would probably clarify the 15, I think it was, that actually responded. And the lion's share of those responses were from outside agencies, obviously, to fill that. But
Okay.
so that was one fire incident with multiple responses. And again, to drill down in that data, that would probably be eye-opening in a lot of incidents. So
For Star, that's pretty incredible and impressive to see the response that came out here for that.
yeah, it just
So-
speaks to the cooperation that I think outside agencies and organizations have. We all wear different patches, but we do the same job and we rely on each other, and that's a collective. So we're good neighbors giving out as well. That happens pretty often as well. So
Any further questions, Chief?
Okay.
No,
Thank you
thank you,
very
sir.
much.
Appreciate it. All right, we're going to move on to item 5, the consent agenda. There's 2 items we're going to remove off there, item D and E.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda consisting of item 5A, the approval of claims, item 5B, Rosti Farms, number 8, final plat, item 5C, Addington subdivision, number 1, final plat, and then item 5D and E to be removed and to update landscape plans and pathway conditions.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Stallmenson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to item 6, the public hearings. We're going to do A and C real quick. Both those items are going to be tabled to later dates. Let me start that over. Sorry. Item 6A, the state Main Street multiple use development. There is going to be a workshop, I think, on March 11th with the applicant and the council here at City Hall. So we need to go ahead and table this because we did table it to today. So we need to table this item out to April 1st, 2025.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I'll move to table the state and Main Street multiple use development conditional use permit to April 1st.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
We got a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Hershey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Stallmenson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. We're going to jump to 6C real quick and just get that one done as well. The Queensway subdivision. This one is going to be tabled indefinitely. I believe Starfire and the applicant are still working on some stuff there. Is that correct? Access issues on that project. So we need to just table this one indefinitely, and then they'll repost it with the new correct date.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilwoman?
I'll move to table Queensway subdivision indefinitely.
Okay, we got a motion. We have a second.
Second that.
Okay, we got a motion by Councilwoman Solomon, a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Stallmenson,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Awesome. That is it for the night. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. We move on to item 6B. Oh, if you want to sign up to speak tonight on that, please go out there and sign up on that sheet back there in the back. But we're going to open up item 6B, which is the Pollard Elementary School. We first heard this 2 weeks ago and tabled it until today. We're only opening it to the very specific things that we talked about opening to, which is that northern access route and the traffic down to Pollard. I'm sorry, down to Floating Feather. Okay, and then so Sean, it's what is it? 7:23. We're going to open this public hearing back up and ask the council if there's any ex parte contact or communication regarding this project.
None.
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 Okay, hearing none. Sean, the floor is yours.
Mr. Mayor and Council, thank you. This application was tabled from February 4th by council to allow the applicant and staff time to review some of the concerns brought up the last public hearing, including meeting with ACHD. Staff did meet with the applicant and reviewed the specific items. The city also met with ACHD and the school district to discuss traffic options. In addition, the day after the last public hearing, the Star Transportation Committee met and they voted unanimously to recommend ACHD move up in their 5-year work program, the Pollard Road improvements. If the mayor, if you want to give a little more detail on our conversations and our meetings.
Yeah, do you have the 5-year work plan up? I just want to talk about some of that we worked on this. So our originally Pollard was not scheduled. It was way down the list, I think down number 6. That at the time that we set this in 2024, we had no idea that this school was even a thought. So the committee moved this up to number 2 on the list. And really it's number 1 on the, if you go to the next page here, real quick, Sean, for me. So if you see in the yellow there, that's number 2, but if you go back, one more page, go backwards, where it says number 1 down there on the bottom, that project's actually been moved up by ACHD. They're going to get that done here this spring for us. And so really it's at the top of their list to start looking at that. ACHD told me anything in the top 3 is what they're really going to look at for this next year. And so that's going to be something they're going to work on. Additionally, up there at the top, when we're talking about arterials, Pollard is not considered an arterial. Floating Feather and Beacon Light are considered arterials. And so the committee also moved up a signalized intersection with ACHD at Pollard and Floating Feather as number 4, which in reality is number 2, because 1, 2, and 3 is the same project on Star Road. They just had to break that out. Okay, so it's just in different timing, because Star Road's like a $60 million project that they're going to do, and they got to break that out in phases. So we've done that. Additionally, meeting with ACHD, there was concerns about people blocking the intersections, traffic areas there. Meeting with ACHD, they are going to, when the weather permits it, they're going to go out there and they're going to put those traffic boxes out there with signage to block the intersections out there in that area for us. And at the same time, our Star Police are going to send our POP team out there as soon as that's done to enforce that. And we've discussed that we're not going to give warnings, we're going to give tickets in this situation to try to, you like that, Chief Masterson? Oh, I'm sorry, you're not chief anymore, right? You like that one though? Or not Masterson, Weiniger, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I said that before to you. You're a better man, so.
Voice.
Yeah, that's my out loud voice. I don't care, but that's out loud. So we're gonna enforce that pretty heavy-handedly on there to make sure that those intersections and stuff stay open for everybody down in that area. We also work with ACHD. I don't know who's going to come up and speak up here. Are you Dr. Reinhardt? You are? Okay. We talked about the northern section of that area and provided some ideas here on the map, and I think they're going to talk about that here shortly as well. And then the right-in or the right turn only that we're asking them to do on that exit out of the school during those hours. ACHD has got to still review all that before they can make any sort of approval to do that. That's going to be completely on them. We can't force them to do that. It's just a suggestion we're going to ask, but they'll take a look at that whole flow on there. And when you see those 2 locations there up above where the pink is kind of there, that doesn't mean there's going to be 2 rows in there. Only one will go in there at the location that ACHD will determine later when they go through that. When they get their permit or get their permit submitted, that's when they're going to review the traffic stuff on there. So, okay. With that said, there's a lot of work that's been done in the last 2 weeks.
The intersection?
I'm sorry?
Did you talk about the intersection?
Oh, the Pollard? Yeah, so Pollard, the Pollard and Floating Feather intersection, number 1, we moved that up, but we also, ACHD is going to determine the traffic and safety measures by their report when they submit for the application, I'm sorry, for the permit. I kind of came up with some crazy ideas, thinking completely outside the box, and threw stuff out at ACHD that are like, wow, that's kind of different, right? With using monitors for stop signs where you can change where the stop signs are during pickup and drop off times and stuff like that. You know, you see them in Europe doing crazy stuff all the time, all over the place. So I think we just need to get more creative in what we're doing. But that, I don't think that's an option, but just kind of showing you what we're doing out there. And you also look, we put on here the parking lot down below by the church where we extended that pathway into the school. That parking lot has about 180 spaces in it for people to park and drop off kids. So that's going to help alleviate some of that traffic concerns that we have on Pollard. Now the weather has really hosed us in the last couple of weeks because they were hoping to have that done here by March, but it's not even going to be close. It's pretty messy up there right now. So, okay, anything else, Sean? All right. So Dr. Reinhardt, you want to get up here and the floor is yours, sir. And did everybody sign up that wanted to speak, by the way? Okay, go ahead, sir.
Mayor Chadwick, honorable council members. My name is David Reinhardt, and I am at 1303 East Central Avenue, Meridian, Idaho. I do want to say that we're excited about this possibility, and joining me tonight is our own elected official, Chair Lori Frazier, joining us this evening, and our superintendent, Dr. Bubb, as well as our design professionals. Just a couple of words of introduction. This is an exciting possibility. We are targeting and are on track. If the CUP is approved tonight and our Board of Trustees approves it, to open a new Star Elementary School in the fall of 26. It's called a number of things, I've noticed. It's called Pollard School, and it's called New Star, and it's called the school at Palmer Lane. That we'll go through a process in naming it.
Liberty School,
Liberty School,
Liberty Elementary. I'm putting that out there right now.
Chadwick Elementary.
No, nothing. That means I'm dead. I don't want none of that.
I do want to say I was not in my notes, but as I listened to Mr. Ryan, to the police chief, the fire chief, it reminds me of why this community is very special. And this is not flattery, but we don't have other communities that are running programs for our students, touching base with our STAR students like this particular community, and it is beautiful to see. So thank you. And maybe Mr. Ryan, if this would continue on, there would be another basketball court to possibly use. You asked us to come back with a plan for adding additional access. Mayor Chadwick, you began to address that, and we'll have our civil engineer and landscape architect come up and address this in detail in a moment. I do want to say this. If this is approved and this moves forward, this is the school, this would be the school with the most stacking, which is the word for like places for parents to pull off and wait. This would be the most stacking spaces in our district. It would probably, in the words of our architects and landscape architects, be one of the largest stacking areas in this region of the country. So this is a substantial amount of places for our parents to be. And we're excited to offer that to this important community, especially a growing community. You also asked us to consider a light at Floating Feather and Pollard, and to Mayor Chadwick's comments, we have had an initial meeting with ACHD. There's a follow-up meeting next week with ACHD on these questions. And as our traffic impact study gets honed in and they get their recommendations tightened up, we'll continue to work with our design team and our Board of Trustees about next steps. We certainly want this to be a safe and wonderful place for students to learn and for parents and buses to move about each day. With that, I am going to turn it over to our landscape architecture firm, and Mr. Connor will present the details of the access road.
Sean Connor, 462 East Shore Drive, Eagle, Idaho. Mr. Mayor, council members, after last meeting, we went back and kind of re-envisioned kind of a secondary access as desired. We have tried to exhibit it here and kind of the traffic movements as they would be presented with the new site plan. Yellow, of course, is showing buses as they were today. No changes to that one. The big change here is the blue line. So that's the secondary access, which basically pushes a new access point further. Yeah. But yeah, pushes another secondary access to the north about 600, 700 feet. There was preliminary conversations about aligning with the subdivision to the cross street that's in preliminary plan review right now. We don't believe that that access is actually compliant with the classification of the roadway, so we're showing code compliance. However, if that driveway access can move further south and save additional funds, that'd be the desire of the school district. But this drop-off lane would allow about 700 new linear feet coming in from the north. Parents would come in, circulate as the blue line shows, and then exit to the north, going back out. Additionally, we are retaining the existing green access in, so parents could come in, the existing access into Star Middle School, enter into it, drop off along that same thing and then exit to the north as well. The purple path, or the pink path, if you will, is an alternate exiting route, which would give them a secondary option with a gate at that location right there, kind of the intersection of the purple and the blue. The gate could be controlled on site, fire department would have access to it to open or close it, school district would have access to open or close it, and then help kind of guide traffic as they deem necessary to kind of move traffic efficiently in and out. We believe that would kind of alleviate some of the congestion concerns to the current southern one as is today. With that, I'll kind of stand for questions.
Any questions of the applicant or staff?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So the line in the blue, up in the top right corner, so that center lane, is that so a turning lane? People can turn left.
Council member, yes. So there, the blue line as it goes out towards Pollard there, we're actually showing one entry and two exits. So it's a left and right turn out.
Okay.
To allow people to come in and move both directions.
Okay,
Oh, I had,
all right. Anybody else have any questions? Questions of staff?
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen? Oh,
uh,
is your microphone on?
it is. Can you hear me? Yeah. Would you explain the gate idea on the pink intersection there again?
Absolutely. So this is what we call pipe gate. It is just a gate that would go across it. It's usually 1 or 2 bars, about waist height, that would have reflective signs on it. It could have a padlock and Knox lock to allow fire department control and school district simultaneous control of it. And that would be vehicle rated. So it would make sure this vehicles could not move through it without access.
But the operation or the function of it, how do you anticipate that works again?
It's a manual. It is a manual gate. So
Emergency only? Is that?
emergency or
the-
West State School
Sorry,
District,
the nature of the question is, how do you envision this working? I understand that different organizations can unlock it, but working for the flow of traffic, go through that one more time.
Council member. I think the desire and the programming of it kind of will evolve as the school kind of sees how traffic moves through it. However, in just preliminary conversations, the idea is that it would remain closed and it would force basically people to follow the blue route. So you could enter in the green or the blue, but exiting would only be through the blue in the current configuration until it's better known at the time. We see some evolutions of parents dropping off and seeing how it's functioning.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions there of the applicant? All right. Thank you, sir.
Council
Anybody sign up, Sean? And remember, when we're speaking of the project, we're only speaking to these items that were discussed tonight. Nothing from previous hearings or any of that. It's just tonight's information here. So, Mr. Masterson? I'm kidding. Mr. Winiger? I know.
My name is Ron Weiniger. I reside at 8998 West Broken Arrow Street in Star. And this is my first time at this meeting. I didn't make it to the last one, so I can only address what's being discussed tonight. And my biggest concern is, and only concern is really the traffic issues that are created. Broken Arrow Street comes out onto Pollard. It is at least currently a dead end street, so there is no other way to get out of that street but onto Pollard. And right now, the way it sits with the traffic with the middle school, there's a good portion of the morning and a good portion of the afternoon where you simply can't get out, or it takes you an extended period of time to get out from that location onto Pollard. So I think that the addition of an elementary school will simply extend those hours and make that traffic longer in the morning and longer in the afternoon, because I recognize there's different school start and stop times for those schools. I am encouraged by the efforts to work on the traffic issues. I just would strongly encourage not to pass this until those are all in place and we are satisfied that it will make the impact less on the residents that are close by. I know of folks that are selling their homes after just moving in because of the traffic that's already on Pollard related to the middle school. So this will exacerbate those issues and those problems. So I would just ask that we be very, very careful and deliberate and make sure that the concerns are taken care of before approval and not afterwards, because sometimes things don't happen afterwards. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Ms. Maxine?
Oops, that doesn't move. Okay. I'm Maxine McCombs. I'm glad to be here to talk to you as city council. My issue is with the traffic also, and the traffic jams that happen at the middle school on Pollard Lane. The whole issue. And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the entrance and exit current 2 lanes each way?
Yeah.
So how would we make a right turn only on the exit?
It would have to be determined with ACHD and how to do that during school hours, if that's what they decide to do.
Okay.
That's not something that we can decide right now on that.
And my suggestion is that we put a light, like it's at Star Middle School, that intersection there with subdivision across the street, put a light like that so that we can kind of gauge the flow of traffic and everything doesn't just jumble up altogether. If we get a stoplight in there, a crosswalk light also, I think that would go a long ways to keeping people safe and helping people be a little bit more patient. Because I've been with my daughter who has had children at that middle school when she picked them up in the afternoon. And it is literally a rat race. And just FYI, with the new parking lot and everything, I think that second exit is perfect. But parents don't follow the rules. I have seen them parking in the bus lane and the bus is not being able to go around them. So you have that issue. They had to block off one end of the parking lot at the middle school with ribbon and barrels to keep people from going directly through the parking lot instead of the road that goes around the parking lot. So that's just some of the things that I want you to be aware of. And I think that if we get the stoplight, it would help immensely to kind of slow down the ebb and flow, or make the ebb and flow of traffic a little more normal.
And that traffic study, when they have the permit, if
Yeah.
ACHD, it determines that that's where the light needs to be, they're going to have to put the light in.
Okay,
ACHD is going to determine that. Unfortunately, the one unfortunate part, we don't control any of the,
I know.
so we can't dictate it. We have to rely on those guys. We can strongly suggest it. Doesn't mean that they'll make them do it.
And that's all I want you to do, is strongly suggest it. But I do like how this school has put in that second exit. But is that an entrance and an exit?
Yeah, so what they were talking about,
School?
yeah.
It's just another exit.
correct. If you give us an
Okay.
emergency exit there, so there'll be 2 exits eventually if you have to.
Well, is it an emergency exit or is it a just regular?
On the top one, on the new one on the
On the
north,
blue line?
so the blue line comes in, they go drop off and they exit out the same area. So it's going to be
So it's
both.
public and emergency?
Yep.
Okay, that's all I want to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Cody.
Cody Larson, 9393 West Beacon Light. Mr. Mayor and City Council, I would just like to reiterate what Mr. Weininger said. I do like the change that I see here based on the discussions from last week or last couple weeks ago are good. I would just like to see things approved before they do take off. Lots of things to be considered, and I just want to make sure we do it right. And I do see some good things here. I'll love to see progress. I just hope we continue to have ACHD involved and try to get them, I don't know, bend their arm, put them in a headlock, whatever you need to do to get it done. Thank you.
That's my daily thing.
Let's go down there together.
Okay. I'll take every one of you. Like I
Yeah.
said, we got a bus.
Yeah. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. All right, that's all who signed up there. Mr. Reiner, you want to come back up, or your engineer, either one?
Mayor Chadwick, council members, this particular project is going to be important for students going forward. I want to add one more thing about the roadway itself, and that you can't make it out on this, but there is pedestrian movement along that roadway. The parking lot that you're building to the south and the sidewalk that's already in, are extremely important to this entire plan as really students riding their bicycle scooters, walking to school, solves a lot of the traffic problems. And so the more walkways we have, the more pedestrian access. Not only does it solve traffic problems, but it's also good for students and learning. So that roadway out to Pollard, however it's designed, whether it's designed with that arc or whether it cuts straight across to the subdivision across, either way has a sidewalk going out and connects to the suburban neighborhood to the north. We originally designed it through our property. Now it's going out to Pollard and north.
Okay.
That I stand for any other questions.
Any other questions of the applicant?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
First, did you want to respond to any of the public testimony that was given? Was
Mayor
that?
Chadwick, Councilman Nielsen, we understand that Pollard Road is crowded, and we are fully cooperating with the ACHD on any improvements. Those improvements have to be heard from them, and those take the time that they take in the weeks and months ahead. We continue with the design of the building and the site so that it would be ready for permitting, so that it could be available for students. In terms of the intersections themselves that you're proposing, we will enforce them, and the prioritization has also been moved up on our list to number 3. And so our points will be coupled with your points and move the Pollard Road expansion ahead.
And could you remind us, what is your timeline and the nature of the funding for this and the timeline to use it?
Councilman Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Nielsen, the funding that is provided is from House Bill 521, which was provided by the state legislature last year. We have worked diligently with the architects and construction managers to build what we believe is an efficient and practical school. I meet with them on a regular basis to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible through that process. Our timeline is that if a CUP would be approved this evening, we would take this to our Board of Trustees for their approval. And then our architects would submit this to the City of Star for permitting first week of April for your permitting process.
Sorry, what I meant by timeline is do these funds expire? Do you have a certain period of time in which you need to use them?
Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Nielsen, they do not expire.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
Mayor Chadwick?
Yes, ma'am.
So regarding the, the parent involvement when they use the parking lots, and we had somebody testify about, parking or waiting in the bus lane. What is does the school district do anything to help control those issues, or is that done by our police? Could you help me understand how those issues are taken care of? And if there's anything that we can do here to, help, just put something in place that would help it succeed.
Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Salmonson. Yes, those issues exist at all of our schools often, as we have seen in the last 5 years, a rapid increase of parents picking their students up and taking them home. Perhaps they're working from home more. It seems like they might be on Zoom meetings while they're waiting for their children. And so the traffic is up all over the country. Parents picking their students up are concerned about their students, and we absolutely understand that. We respond to calls, complaints on a daily basis about car and bus lanes. And the best thing to do is to let your school administrator know those things are happening. They're usually out there anyhow, and they contact us. We work closely with the bus company. We contract our busing services, and we have them on speed dial daily to navigate that in a safe manner. We do design with our architects. We do design, and you'll notice here and at STAR that we separate cars and buses. At times, people choose to mix those up, but we work hard every day to sort through that.
And you do have an SRO on site at a Star Middle School that will be out there as well. That'll be part of this traffic enforcement that's going to be happening that Chief and I have been talking about. Okay. Any further questions? Councilman Wheelock, did you have one?
As I look at the plan, I'd like the north long option with the more stacking. I think it gives a better circular flow. If we can make 37 cars park for our Dutch brothers, there's 300 spots for our elementary. It's more common to have a stacking parking lot, and they need one on Star Road and at the current elementary. As I drive through there with my daily driver, it's a squeeze to get through there, and there's already a turn lane in that. So I think the longer option, if there was any way to encourage that, that's the way I would see it. I do like the options that you've come up with. The school is still needed. We still, in my opinion, are overdue. But working through the traffic is the real challenge for us, to not provide more problems than answers and solutions. If there were a way to encourage a traffic light that would help it flow south, I would encourage that over all the other stuff that's already happening. Traffic studies will be what they are, but if you're not moving the traffic fast enough, it's still gridlock. And that's the problem that I see that needs to be dealt with at Star Road and Floating Feather, or at Plummer and Floating Feather.
Okay. Any further questions or comments of the applicant?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
So, I really appreciate the work that you guys did with Mayor Chadwick, getting you together with ACHD. This hearing isn't really any different than any other land use hearing we get. ACHD is always a wild card. And without us having control over the traffic, it's difficult to make decisions based on traffic. What is different in this hearing is we've had more eyewitness testimony and more actual testimony relating to traffic than we normally get. We've had people testify and verifiable that emergency services could not get to her home when they had a health emergency because all of the traffic was blocked. We have eyewitness testimony that at times of day around school coming and going, that we've got more near miss events than should be happening. We have people that just simply can't leave their homes at certain times of day. These kind of facts really weigh heavy on me. And I'll just share personally, 9 years ago, and I know you guys, none of you guys were around part of this, but 9 years ago, we approved a school and we didn't have the traffic stuff nailed. We thought that we had an agreement with the school district that, you can't control the parents, but 100% of the students would have a busing option. That didn't pan out. And I'll just share personally, that has weighed heavy on my conscience. Like, I've been waiting for 9 years, hoping that nobody died over there, because that weighs on my conscience. And I can't make a decision that does not clear my conscience in this hearing. And so when I hear Chief Weiniger, Mr. Weiniger, former Chief Weiniger, Masterson, whatever his name is, ask me to wait until we know what that looks like. We've got an application that doesn't have a traffic study complete. We've got very preliminary input from ACHD. And you don't have a timeline on your funding. So why shouldn't we wait until we have these things figured out for our community?
Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Nielsen, we are trying to open the school to the timeline because roughly a third of your students are currently being bused to Eagle for education. And we have been working diligently for 8 months so that we could open it in 2026. Because we believe it's that urgent.
And do you believe that urgency, where we're busing them on safe highways in safe situations where arguably we don't have the same traffic problems in those areas that we have in this area currently, the urgency to get them out of that safe situation and into a new unknown is greater? Do I understand that correctly?
Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Nielsen, the traffic, I also oversee transportation in our district. The traffic situation is extremely challenging in every one of our schools. Every one of our schools.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any further questions of the applicant?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So how many students is that? A third? Is that around 100 or so that are being bused, to Eagle?
Mayor Chadwick, Honorable Councilman Selmason, I don't have that number off the top of my head today. I wasn't prepared with numbers coming in, but the entire southeast corner of Star goes to Star Elementary School.
South
To Eagle.
South State.
Sorry.
To Eagle, yeah. I was like, wait a minute.
Stand corrected.
Think about that.
Yeah, got it.
Goes to Eagle Elementary School.
So there's, and Star Elementary is overcrowded by over 100 right now as well. And there's over 200 kids that get bused into Eagle for elementary school over there. So there's quite a few children there that's happening to. I'm going to go the opposite direction of Councilman Nielsen here on this whole thing. I'm just going to bring this out right now. I was on the same city council with him at the time that the middle school was there, and what he's saying is accurate. However, I do see the dynamics that we're working with not being able to control the roads is there is no time that we're ever going to see that this road gets widened before the need, ever. ACHD never, ever, ever does that, and it's unfortunate. And I know we have a media person here and should probably post what I'm going to say, which is fine. I would like to see the roads come back to the city of Star so we can maintain those and we can get this stuff done, but it's not happening. So we got to fight with the things that the dynamics that we have. The CUP does not require the traffic study right now. It's at the permit stage, I believe, that requires the traffic study to be completed for ACHD to make those conditions required for that road. The only tools that we have right now is moving that up on our integrated 5-year work list, working with ACHD, strong arming them, and trying to get this stuff done. I understand the concerns of the safety, and that's why we went through and tried to figure out these issues with the intersections right now, thinking outside the box for the traffic light, working to get this parking lot and that pathway put in over there on the south. And we even got a grant to help pay for that, you know, to get this done, because that was always a concern, Kevin. I was the exact same thing. That's why I worked so freaking hard to get that easements through those properties to get that pathway in, because that concerned me that these kids had no way to get to the school at that time. And I think we do the things necessary to try to make this right. And I get it. Pollard Lane needs to be widened. And in fact, it probably needs to be changed to an arterial versus a collector road in the future. But right now, we have it on the plan with ACHD because it's considered a collector to get widened out. And I think we will have that time. I met with Director Head and with Dr. Bud. We sat down and collaborated on this whole thing. And we worked tirelessly to try to figure out how we can make this work within their guidelines. And that's what we're doing. We're working within the guidelines that we're given. And we have a serious need for the school. And this council up here has approved 6,000 other lots in this city that have yet to be built. And we have an extreme need for an elementary school right now for these kids. We can try to mitigate the traffic issues as best we can with the tools that we have today, continue to push to get that widened. And I think that'll happen, especially with the eyes that have been put on there. But I'm all about we need to get the school going. It's going to be a year and a half before that thing is even open for the students to be in there. And I do believe, from what I understand, is they wouldn't even start construction until June is the earliest, which is great timing, because then you don't have construction traffic going in and out once kids are there. Right? That's another concern, safety concern. We've utilized that in the past where we limit the timeframes of construction traffic, right? And so we don't even have that challenge here with the heavy equipment and stuff that's going to be in there, because I have the site work done before school starts, if it ever gets to open up in June. It's a balancing act that we have to figure out, and we have a serious public need. We have an opportunity right now, like Councilman Nielsen asked for the funding that's coming from, that the state's provided funding to these school districts. It doesn't have to get bonded. The city of Star does not approve bonds. We are one of the worst out there. We're about 70% that say no in the West Ada School District. So we have an opportunity today to get money that's coming from the state to help pay for a school in our community that doesn't require a bond from anybody in our city limits of Star. And I think we need to work to get that thing built and continue our work and our efforts on our traffic on Pollard to get that fixed for everybody that's out there, because even at the same time, I look at it as these developments go. I think ACHD should have required the developers to widen that freaking road at the time of building, and that's been some of my heartache that I've had with ACHD is they continue to give right of ways, but they don't make the developer build that road. I'm like, what are we doing with that? And that's the things that we continue to work on with them. And I do have meetings with Commissioner Gold. She comes out once a month. And we drive through the city and we talk about these different things. And she's been a very good voice for us to try to get some of this done. And she has said that she's going to push for this for us at that time as well. But I just want to lay that out there. I get the frustration and the concerns that are out there, but we got an entire city that's continuing to grow, that's not going to stop. And unfortunately, with the stuff that continues to happen in California, we continue to get more that want to move into the city of Star in this area. It's not going to slow down. And so that's, I don't know if you want to comment off that. It's just me. Kevin and I we have a great conversations about stuff like this all the time, you know, and fully respect each other on our opinions and stuff. But I just wanted to lay that out there from my standpoint.
I'm still waiting for you to take the opposite view.
It is the opposite view, but I'm saying that we need to approve this and get this school built and continue to work with ACHD and stuff. We can't wait for the road to get built first before the school, because that's not the way the process works, unfortunately, in our county, unless we had the control of the road.
I'm in agreement with everything that you've said. I don't think, though, that we can minimize the fact that Trevor or Mayor Chadwick, it took us 8 years. And you and Councilwoman Salmonson and others worked really hard. It took us 8 years to get that pathway. And if the city's left holding the bag again, we're not going to be able to overcome the challenges that this application will create. Now, I happen to have faith that ACHD will come to the table. And I hope that if they don't, that their meetings are the ones that everybody shows up to.
Well, and
Because
that's what's going to take.
That's what it's going to take, honestly. Their meetings hardly have anybody that shows up to them. And that's really where, so, you know, for so many years, we've heard the number one issue that Star residents have is traffic. But this isn't the body that can control that. And so until we start showing up at ACHD, a lot of these challenges aren't going to be addressed.
And I just want to put this out there for everybody involved. When they do the integrated 5-year work plan, it's important everybody comments on that and goes to these meetings and makes comments and puts pressure on them that says that this needs to get done. I mean, it's a necessity to get done. But, all right. Any further questions of Mr. Reinhardt? No? Okay, thank you. It's 8:05. Sorry, it's 8:05, and I'm going to close this public hearing and go to council deliberations. Anybody make a motion, council deliberation?
Mr. Mayor,
Council, or, yes, sir, Sean.
when you do make your motion, if you do make a motion for approval with conditions, staff has provided council with some recommendations and conditions of approval to include within the conditional use permit.
Okay, thank you. You guys, comments, questions, motions? I know it's emotions too. I think you have that in hard copy, right, Sean?
Yeah, I provided that with
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
So this is really hard without having any input from ACHD. Sean, can you help, and staff, I guess, help with the, you know, Mayor Chadwick, you mentioned as in the past, you know, they haven't required the developments to improve the road.
Correct.
So with this I mean, this is another development. And so could ACHD come back? Like what type of improvements might we see?
They would do improvements along their frontage.
Yeah, just the frontage.
Or they would be required to do a light at Pollard and Floating Feather.
Okay, so when we say the frontage, is that the
Only
No,
where their property
where the-
touches
just
Pollard.
I doubt that they'll make them do it from up by the Larsons almost down. It'd probably be in front of where the project is happening.
Yep, so
They may make them do turn lanes. They
The-
got all that.
yeah, so where the entrances that we're looking at here, the box area, the pink.
Now, just so one of the conditions on here that it was put in, no permits of construction shall be issued until ACHD has reviewed and made recommendations for the necessary improvements at Pollard Lane and Floating Feather Road. Right? You can condition a project that requires them to do what ACHD says is required, right? On there, all the way through there. So, I mean, those are the conditions that you can put on this project as far as the road goes. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry if
Good.
you're still talking, so.
Yeah, so we cannot ask them to improve the entire road.
No,
Nope. Yep. Well, that's a shame.
they would have to agree, and they most likely will not agree to that.
Yeah, yeah.
It goes outside their policy.
And nor is it necessarily fair. Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I'll go ahead and start. I think, you know, this plan, sounds like we've addressed a lot of our concerns that we had from last time regarding just the, you know, what we can put in place that can help mitigate some of the traffic and the issues that we might see. For this, regarding the safety, you know, I think with having those boxes that are painted in the intersections, I think that's going to be a huge help. And then we will have to wait and see until we get the input back from ACHD about a stoplight or, yeah, what the flow is, if they can turn left or right. But tonight, we're just looking at this being approved for the use of a school. And I mean, I hear everybody and I've been to the middle school. I've sat in that traffic. I know it's really painful. And I'm sure for the neighbors that are right next door, like it's got to be so hard. But we desperately need the school. And I think that I also sit on the transportation committee, and I see on that committee, we are like, we're demanding, more support, more help in STAR by ACHD. And I don't see that ending. And I think asking all of you to please provide your input yearly. They have a public input time, and, you can put on the map, we want this road widened. That's a top priority. Yeah, so I personally, I'm leaning towards approving it. So I'd love to hear others' thoughts.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor.
Councilman Hershey? Is that what Mr. Mayor? Okay, Councilman
Yes,
Hershey.
I'm still here. I don't say much because I just repeat what people say. Oh, so if anyone read the Star Spirit magazine this month and read the welcome message that I wrote, you'll notice that I said in there, well, two things. One, you'll know that today is our 30th wedding anniversary, me and my wife, and I'd rather spend it with you. So at 30 years, you just stare at each other. And so,
So he won't get to 31 at this
no,
point.
it's pretty much over. I shouldn't have made it to 30. I married way outside my league.
She's not watching anyway.
That's right.
No, she's not watching anyway. But I said in there that this job causes me more angst, loss of sleep, and stress than all other jobs I've held. And that includes when I was in charge of getting all helicopters for fire and all that goes with it. I lost not nearly as much sleep or stress over working the helicopters and now helping Homeland Security and what I do with them. Has nothing like what happens on nights like this. Here's where I stand. I agree with absolutely everything said, and that makes it an absolute contradiction in my head. It's vital that we have a school. Busing our children out is just a start of what's going to happen. If we have growth, Eagle has growth, Boise has growth, Meridian has growth. I don't know anything about CUNA. And Ada County has growth. Everywhere there's growth. So that means if we're busing our students, there's a good chance that others are as well. And it's simply going to cause an overcrowding in every school that we already have. Traffic is an issue. It's an issue I've been dealing with for 10 years. I've been on this council 2 months longer than Councilman Nielsen, and I was there when that first school was approved. And I was just as green as him. I didn't know giddy up from come here when it comes to city council or what we do. But it's something that we approved. So I have to weigh the facts that we do need a school. I think it's critical, but I also do not want any more traffic blockage or concerns. The unfortunate problem we have, which is unique to this county, is we do not own our roads. And roads and infrastructure will never move, as it was stated by the mayor, will never move until the rooftops are basically there, bringing the tax dollars in, allowing it to be collected and then improved upon. It will not go the other way. They will not build the 4-lane highway, assuming the commercial is going to show up and the houses are going to be there. It's always the other way around, which means it's always in a deficit, always in a deficit. The fact that emergency vehicles were blocked from getting to a needed call is concerning beyond belief. However, I see, just like Councilwoman Salmons pointed out, I see improvements that are immediately going to happen with the boxes, which is a start. I see the ways in and out of this proposed school now, which is a start. the pressure on ACHD is going to have to be imminent and constant. And that is something that we have to all fight. That's a fight we're all in. We're all in the trench on this. Therefore, Sean, could you pull up those conditions again, please? The one thing I can't do that I wish I could is condition this to where if something unfavorable comes back from ACHD, that it will not go through. However, I've been counseled many times by our good attorney that I cannot be doing that. And I cannot put restrictions of another independent entity has the right to, and in their, basically, as I say, in their sandbox. So therefore, I am actually going to make a motion to approve this school with these conditions as stated, and all other conditions as stated that we had in the previous meeting on the 4th of February. And if there's any others that we need to add that I am forgetting about?
Okay. Sean, we got,
Mr. Mayor, Council, yes, I provided the comments from the neighboring property owners as far as the landscape buffers, in addition to the pathway to the north to connect to River Creek, and then the recommendations for working with ACHD and the improvements that we discussed.
okay. So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Yeah, we got a motion and a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion?
Just one more note that, and this is to Chief Essing, that those boxes that are going to be enforced, that they remain a priority until the traffic is flowing. That would be something I would like to stress is all.
Very good.
Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen?
just a couple of final thoughts. I think we can see where this is going to go, but I'm going to say my final thing anyway. I don't believe that the boxes are going to alleviate the traffic concern because the traffic is blocked in both lanes. It stopped at the intersection on Floating Feather and Pollard, and it stopped at the intersection of the school. And you can put boxes in, but that won't clear a lane. And I don't believe that we've got the urgency. I mean, the only urgency that's been expressed is we want to open the school in 2026. Look, I know we're overcrowded. I want a school just as much as everybody else does. Even though it may not sound like it, I really do. That's what's in my heart. I know that we need it. We also need safety. And look, we can open a school in January. I know it maybe not, but there wouldn't be anything to stop us unless you couldn't get the teachers mid-year. I know that's a concern. But 2027, safe 2027 sounds just as good as or better than an unsafe 2026. And I think it would be great if the media were to report the difficulty that our community and our school district is in because of the way ACHD operates. There will not be a single new rooftop paying taxes due to this application. That funding has got nothing to do with the ACHD's ability to widen this road. Every bit of funds that ACHD needs has already been collected by the city of Star and spent somewhere else. They collect and collect and collect here in this town, and they don't bring it back. And wouldn't it be great if the public could understand the difficulty that we're working with here? And the difficulty, it's great to point to government and say, well, the government doesn't work and the school district board, they're just a bunch, say it all you want, but it really comes down to we have a massive inefficiency in Ada County that starts and ends with ACHD.
Okay, thank you. Any further comments?
If Mr. Mayor, if I could add that I'd rather see our kids go to school in Star than give them a half-hour bus ride every day. I don't think it's any safer. I don't think it's any easier on the kids to be on the bus that much longer every day. And there's a happy medium. If we can push to have this flow, I get it. The boxes aren't going to solve the problem, but they're gonna give somebody a chance to get into the road at least, at minimum. That's all you're gonna do. I understand it's not gonna flow the traffic, but it's gonna give them a shot at the chance.
Yeah, sure. And it can do that this year or it can do it next year. But why isn't ACHD here as part of this plan? That's what we need. We need ACHD as a partner, not as always the wild card.
Okay. Any further comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Nay.
Okay, that motion carries 3-1. Thank you. All right. So that lively stuff there. We're going to go on to item 7A, the Ada County Development Impact Fees. Do we have the Ada County folks here? The Ada County not show up here tonight? Then we're gonna table this till the next meeting because I need to be here to present this. So I'm just gonna let you know, we're not gonna hear this one tonight. We don't have to we don't have to actually table the action item. I'm just gonna move it off of this. And move on to the next one. So we're gonna move on to item 7B, the ordinance for Unified Development Code Amendment. Sean, you want to talk to us about that one? Who put this in? You put this in here?
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is the ordinance for the amendments that I brought before you right before Christmas break regarding several items within the municipal code, including snow removal, additions or revisions to titles or sections 2, 4, Title 3, and section or Title 8, chapters 1, section 1, defining terms for fitness clubs, and an update to our flood ordinance, Title 10, chapter 1. This is the accompanying ordinance to finalize those changes.
Okay. Anything else to that, Sean, or?
Nope, that's it.
Okay. So we need to. I think we need to suspend rules, correct, on this? You have the little, there it is up there. Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Okay. Councilman Hershey.
I move that we introduce and pursuant to Idaho Code, Section 50-902, the rules requiring ordinance be read in 3 different days with one reading being full be dispensed with, and that ordinance number 413-2025 be considered after reading once by title only.
All right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, a second by Councilwoman Solomon. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, the motion carries, and we move on to the approval of the ordinance.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman,
I'll move to approve ordinance number 413-2025, amending the Star City Municipal Code, an ordinance of the City of Star, Ada, and Canyon Counties, Idaho, amending titles 3, 8, and 10 of the Star City Municipal Code, updating health and sanitation definition to add snow removal, revising definitions and specific uses for fitness clubs, and updating the floodplain variance process, and providing an effective date. There is a little typo in there.
all right. We have a motion. We have a second.
Second that.
Okay, any further discussion? Hershey seconded that for the notes. All right, roll call.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Hershey.
Awesome. Yeah, that motion carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to item 7C, the resolution for the City of Star Master Pathways Plan Adoption. This is what you approve for Master Pathways. We just have to finalize this through a resolution.
No, it's not an ordinance thing. It's just
Yeah, so
We don't have
Mayor.
to suspend anything. Or-
Yeah, so.
So you just approve the
approve-
resolution.
Okay, Mayor Chadwick.
Sure.
I'll move to approve resolution number 2025-01. A resolution of the city of Star adopting the city pathway master plan.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
We have a motion, second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion?
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilwoman?
I will just, I want to just say, this is a long time coming and thank you to the Transportation Committee and staff and our consultant to help develop this plan. And I'm excited that we are finally adopting it tonight.
Okay. Very good. Any further discussion? All right, roll call.
Nielsen,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Hershey.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. On the item 7D, the ordinance 414-2025 Willowbrook Development Annexation Amended Legal Description. John?
Mr. Mayor and Council, back when we approved the Willowbrook development annexation and the ordinance, there was an error in the legal description that left out a piece of property of approximately 10 acres. And so this amended ordinance for the annexation cleans up that revision or that mistake that was provided by the applicant. If this does not change anything else that was approved, that was part of the development agreement or the approval of the annexation, strictly to amend the legal notice or description.
Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
Just to add what Sean was saying, the legal description, and the diagrams and everything, we're a part of the public hearing process. So we're not adding anything to what the public saw or didn't see when we went through the public hearing. It just so happened that when we got done with the public hearing process and the ordinance was brought forward, there was just a clerical error that left out this portion of the legal description, so we're adding it back in. But it was all part of the previous public hearing, and that's why you're not having a public hearing tonight to review it.
All right. Any further questions? Okay, we need a suspend of the rules.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
I move to introduce ordinance number 414-2025 and that pursuant to Idaho Code Section 50-902, the rule requiring an ordinance to be read on 3 different days with one reading to be in full be dispensed with, and that ordinance number 414-2025 be considered after reading once by title only.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second that.
We have a motion, second by Councilman Hershey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Wheelock.
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Now we need to approve the ordinance.
Mayor Chadwick.
Councilman Nielsen?
I move that we approve ordinance number 414-2025 Willowbrook Development Annexation Legal Description Amendment, an ordinance annexing to the city of Star certain real property located in the unincorporated area of Ada County, Idaho, more specifically located as described in Exhibit A in Star, Idaho, and contiguous to the city of Star. The property is owned by Willowbrook Development, Inc., establishing the zoning classification of the annexed property as residential with a development agreement R2DA of approximately 730.39 acres, directing that certified copies of this ordinance be filed as provided by law, providing for related matters, and providing for an effective date.
All right, we have a motion. We have a second.
Second.
We have a motion, a second by Councilman Wheelock. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey.
Aye.
Wheelock.
Aye.
Solomon, Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to item 7E, the Cushing Terrell fee proposal for Freedom Park Community Event Center. We have the roster, right? That's what it's called. We call it the roster for architects. And so we selected an architect out of that roster to do the design of the building down at the river, right there at Freedom Park, River House Freedom Park area for that new event center. Councilman Wheelock and myself, and I think Ryan Morgan,
And Dana.
huh?
Dana was in the meeting.
And Dana were met with the architects on this, and they provided a proposal. We have, the proposal is 270, can you scroll up for me? I'm sorry, $263,241 for them to design this facility. We put 250,000 in the budget, so we'll have to take 13,000 and change out of savings to cover the rest of that, just so you're aware. So we're asking for the council to approve this so we can continue on with the design of this facility. Any questions? You got anything further to add, Councilman Wheelock?
No, I'm excited to see the plan move forward. I think the building's going to be a huge asset to the city, and I look forward to seeing what they come back with as an overall plan.
Mr. Mayor, Ryan Morgan,
Brian Morgan?
city engineer. If you scroll farther down, there are other items that are included. The actual total cost is $329,000.
Well, that's if they add in those other items as above. And we're not doing all those right yet because this is just design.
Okay, so that means that some of the storm drainage and some of the grading and landscaping are not included, just so we're clear.
So hang on a sec here. So I want to just clarify this. So on this, the 329.05, so go up for me real quick. Sean. Up. Keep going up where that other cost was on there. So the initial contract total here is 263,241, which is schematic design development construction documents. Wouldn't that other price be the bidding support and the construction administration? When we get
You are
that?
correct, yes.
Okay,
I
thank you.
apologize. Sorry.
So we're only approving the 263,241 right now. So I'm glad you pointed that out so we can clarify that for everybody. Okay, any further questions? Discussion or anything? Yeah, entertain a motion to approve, or you could deny it if you choose. It's up to you.
Mayor Chadwick,
Councilman Nielsen.
I move to authorize you to spend $263,241 and proceed.
Okay,
I second that.
we have a motion, a second by Councilman Hershey. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Hershey,
Aye.
Wheelock,
Aye.
Solomon,
Aye.
Nielsen.
Aye.
All right, that motion carries. Thank you. We're going to move on to item 8, which is adjournment. I just want to thank everybody for participating. It's not the easiest job in the world up here. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with, so we appreciate